I was reading this great article that talks about the tariff to recession timeline.
Okay.
And on April 2nd, tariffs were announced. Container ship departures from China to the U.S. slowed down. Early to mid-May, they say container ships to U.S. ports will come to a stop. Mid to late May, trucking demand comes to a halt, leading to empty shelves and lower sales for companies. Late May to early June, layoffs in trucking and retail industries. Summer 2025 will be a recession. Now, I listen to the economists, right? But who I listen to is the people. And all week long, especially this week in particular, truck drivers and people who work at the ports have been calling Breakfast Club, just warning us of the inevitable. And, you know, I'm from Charleston, South Carolina. There's a port in Charleston that got one cargo ship that will be arriving on May 10th. And then the ports are shutting down. Charleston gets from China 200,000 to 500,000 containers each month. There are major port of goods from China that come into the U.S. So what I would tell brilliant idiot listeners is start stocking up.
I thought about that.
Start stocking up.
Stocking up on what?
I guess whatever it is you're not going to be able to get. Like, you know, they say by the summertime you're going to see empty shelves.
But like what specifically? Are we talking about deodorant? Are we talking about diapers?
Please, deodorant, especially during the summer.
Like I go.
For my studio, for example, I bought extra equipment because I know electronics is going to go.
But what about regular everyday people? That's a great question Schulz is asking.
Is it granola? Is it cereal? Or is that manufactured here? Is it diapers? Is it toothpaste? Like, what are the things that we should get ahead of if we can now that are going to be, because it's, okay, so this is the confusing thing about the tariffs. Are the tariffs stopping goods from coming here, or are they stopping people from buying the goods once they're here? This rhetoric seems like they're stopping goods from even coming here. So maybe stores are going, I can't afford to buy that or to sell it at that price, therefore I'm not going to buy it. Therefore there won't be any.
Or the stuff that will come over here, once it's gone for a few months.
So there's minimal stuff. So it seems like there's going to be less consumption on behalf of the major corporations.
It says the impact will be felt most acutely in the coming weeks and months, with lower cost footwear, apparel, toys, electronics being particularly hard to find. Perishable items like apple juice and fish may also be scarce due to limited shelf life.
So what was it? Apparel,
low cost footwear, toys, electronics, seafood, apple juice. It just says perishable items, period. See, that's going to be tough because these are a lot of back to school stuff. There's a lot of back to school stuff in the middle of the summer.
I'm most concerned about like people and their kids.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if you need specific things for your kids. You need diapers, right?
They said the price of baby strollers doubled.
So, but a stroller is something that you buy once, right?
Yeah.
So maybe there's a couple, whatever. But like, what are the things that moms and dads are buying every single week for their kids? So are there certain foods that are going to skyrocket that you should store? Is it like baby formula? Like
perishable items for sure.
So what, like a list of these things would be really helpful, I think, for the listeners. And for me, like let's get ahead of it. If it's diapers, all right, let me buy 5 boxes of diapers right now.
Yeah.
Get us through the summer.
Interestingly, I think Amazon was going to put it essentially.
You saw that.
The tariff tax on the website to show you how much.
And then Trump
said,
no, you don't.
And Daddy called.
Because what they were going to do is go, here's our price, and then here's the added tax because of tariffs.
I'm going to tell you why I respect that.
Yeah.
I respect that because you're going to have a lot of companies who are going to jack their prices up just because they can. Price gouging is a real motherfucking thing. So if you have, if on Amazon it says this is because of tariffs, if you see somebody jacking their price up and they don't have this is because of tariffs, that's just them price gouging.
I can't prove it. I feel instinctively that's been going on for the last 15 years. Like if I'm paying $5 for a coffee, a croissant still costs the same amount.
Son, let me tell you something about that. You're speaking so much truth. There was a time when we were growing up, and I'm not trying to be like an old head here, but like a regular, what we call drip coffee, just a cup of coffee, was like $1, $1.50.
$1.25.
And then Starbucks introduces the espresso-based drinks. And we're convinced that by doing an espresso-based drink, that it's more expensive. So we start spending like $4 for an espresso-based drink. Then all of a sudden, the drip coffee that is not an espresso-based drink, that is just a batch made with grounds coffee beverage, started costing just as much as the espresso-based drink. That right there is this price gouging you're talking about. You get us comfortable spending $4 for a cup of coffee, and then all of a sudden you raise the price of the cheap coffee to the same.
And cookies and croissants and muffins and everything associated with. So now the experience of going and getting a cup of coffee and a snack.
You know what? Though? I don't even
Easy.
think that's price gouging. I think that is they know y'all got an addiction. When a motherfucker has an addiction, you can charge him whatever. Like y'all are addicted to caffeine. So it's like
not caffeine, it's also the experience.
Yes.
But same thing. Once they got you in the store, they know what you're going there for.
They know that we start our morning with a cup of
It's
coffee.
a habit.
We like one in the afternoon.
That's right.
But there's something specific about, like, this is the annoying thing about that Amazon tariff thing, right? Is that they're going, hey, things are more expensive because of these tariffs, so we're going to show this tariff price so you don't think it's us. Okay. Well, you never posted like the cost of making the good for you and then what you charge.
No, that's that. Now you're talking now.
Because
they're not going to tell you that it costs $3 to make in China.
Exactly. So it's like, that's why on some level I get the Trump administration be like, nah, don't do this fuck shit. You were making this, you were charging 300% more for this item, and now that they're the tariffs, you want to blame it on us? You guys were gouging like a motherfucker before. Stop using this as an excuse.
It's not that Amazon was gouging. It's just that these corporations here in America are gouging. You go to these other countries, you get shit made for $2, $3, and come over here and sell it to us for $100.
They did that with the bags. Remember when China came out, the beginning of the tariffs, where all these luxury goods, right? Where they told us that they were hand sewn and inside, mom and pop factories in France, and then China was like, no, they're sewn by machines over here in China, and then we're sending them around.
Yeah.
You're just charging $5,000 for a fucking bag.
The Balenciagas, the Chanels, the Stumpties.
No.
Damn, son. Damn.
You're really bad, bro.
Here's the thing, man. All I'm telling you is going to be a cold summer. That's it. Fuck all. Listen, I ain't here to talk about politics, Democrats, Republicans. We're all American at the end of the day, and we are responsible for the decisions and the choices that the leaders of the country make. So everybody is going to be impacted by this. So figure it out.
Well, that's what we got to get ahead of right now. Just like, what are the things that are actually going to cost a little more, and how can we scoop up? I don't want to say scoop them up now, because then it actually punishes the people who don't have a little extra money in their pockets, when it hurts. So that actually would disadvantage them even more. Yeah. If we have the money to buy 5 months worth of diapers and we go do it, now they don't get diapers even earlier.
I don't know. We're also. I was thinking about this really deeply last night. My daughter committed to a college last night, which
hey,
very excited
Let's
about.
Go! What school is she
I don't
going
want to say it's a fine school.
Can we bleep it and you just tell us so we know?
Is it a lot of money? Give us the price tag. That's what you give us.
88.
God damn.
Can I say NYU?
Just say it.
Just say we'll bleep. Wow.
A nice school,
Yeah.
beautiful campus.
And she got a scholarship?
No, she didn't. She got scholarships at all these great schools, but she fell in love with. And I was like, I want you to go where you're
feel comfortable at.
Happy.
That is important.
I was like, when you opened the acceptance letter, what were you the most excited about?
Yeah.
And she said, that place. And I was like, then I got to forget about the money. This is, we're going to do it. We did it. And then she left the room. I was like, oh my God.
Shit, we got to write another book, Chris.
I got a fucking problem on my hands. And I was like, where can I save money? Where can I make up the difference? And I was literally thinking about, I don't know, man, I probably spend $100 on coffee. Maybe not $100 a week, but like,
that's not a crazy statistic, isn't that?
Right.
You might spend $100. You have 3 coffees a day.
Well, I'll tell you,
$15.
it's not even the coffee in New York. I mean, how much do I spend eating out?
Yeah.
At restaurants.
You're right.
We talk about the getting used to normalizing prices. I can remember a time you went out with somebody, had dinner,
$20.
a couple drinks. No, a couple. I'm talking like a nice.
If you're drinking as well, yeah.
$100 was like the limit.
Yes.
$100 was like, this was a fancy. You could drop 2, 3. Forget about 4 people.
If you're drinking now, you go to places, drinks are $15.
Minimum.
You have a glass of wine, it could be 20 something fucking dollars.
Easy.
And if you have 3 glasses of wine,
That's why it's better to be at the house. You know what I'm also learning about all of this shit? It's not that I'm learning, it's just reinforcing what we already knew. Every other issue is really some bullshit. I don't give a fuck what party you represent. It always boils down to the economy. It's always about that money. Cash rules everything around me. Dollar bill, fucking y'all. This country, I am convinced, would absolutely positively accept dictatorship if we had money in our pocket. like money is the issue that's making everybody, Democrats, Republicans in these town halls, they're the ones, the money is what's making people be like, yo, what the fuck? People losing their jobs, fucking gas prices going up, fucking, the Mega Million costs $5 now.
That's a lot of money.
The Mega Millions used to be $1. Think that we're going to get to the point in this country where literally you might need to go to your neighbor's house for a cup of sugar. I'm dead ass serious. Like, I'm serious. You laughing. You might not have no diapers, Taylor, not because you can't afford them. They just might not be none. And that neighbor next door just so happens to have a bunch of leftover diapers. Yo, Taylor, take these. Like, literally, we're going to need each other in that way. And it ain't going to be a race thing. It ain't going to be a gender thing. It ain't even going to just be a class thing. It's just going to be like, you might be rich and might not have. Just because it's just not available for you to have it. That's it. Simple as that. So I've always, I would give away a lot of it. I'm sure I would. But the fucking Mega Millions is $5. I can't even afford.
I am shocked.
Can you imagine not even being able to afford the hope?
That's what Carter said today.
I can't even afford to wish. I can't afford to fucking dream. The Mega Millions and Powerball says, hey, you never know. I can't even afford to never know. Like, just think about that shit for a minute, man. You understand as Americans, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's just little things that give us hope. We don't need much. Like, shit can be fucked up. If there's a little small glimmer of hope, that's all a lot of it. Hit 3, go play another. Why do you think people do that shit? It just gives them a little bit of hope. I can't even afford the hope. Now, I didn't even play the Mega Millions yesterday.
You said no.
I'm like, I can't do it. That shit is $5, yo.
That was your time.
I'm taking
that
the knee,
was your time, yo. I guarantee God was testing you. And I guarantee God was like, this motherfucker's too cheap to be this rich.
If it was my time, I'd have went and played it.
It was.
I don't feel like nothing misses you that's supposed to be yours.
Yeah, that's what God thought too. He gave you a little obstacle. You're like, I don't want to climb over it.
$5?
Yeah.
By the way, it only takes one. So I do have a new little theory. What I'm gonna do is, instead of buying 5, I'm gonna stick to my number, which is $20. I'm gonna buy my 5 Powerball.
So you buy
for $10,
within the $20.
and I'm gonna buy 2 Mega Millions. And that's God's number. So
7.
That's 7.
Yeah, because on the 7th day.
Down the 7th day. So when I hit, because all you need is one. It's really one.
Yeah, it's one.
That's all. So Taylor, you talking all of that crazy talk, but all you need is one. So if you got $1, if it's your time, you walk in there and get it. Willy Wonka was the poor. Little Charlie was so fucking. Little Charlie was so fucking poor. Do you know how poor Charlie's family was, yo? They was all sleeping in the same bed, eating cabbage soup. Okay,
Crazy.
Living in a fucking shack on the outskirts of town. One chocolate bar, one little quarter or whatever the fuck it was, changed his whole life. When it's your time, it's your time. Okay? You don't think so? When it's your time, it's your
You
time.
play the same numbers?
Nah, I used to, but I just do the quick picks.
Oh, you got to play the same number.
Nah, I used to.
Why?
Because then if you play the same number, eventually that number will hit.
I thought
But
that.
if you change your numbers, the number that you picked Monday, that shit could have hit. I mean, you played Tuesday, it could have hit on Monday.
I always thought about that in regards to algorithms. I always thought that if you go in there and like you play the same number, like then that means all those numbers go in the system, and then so those numbers rotate, and then eventually somebody hits that. I did always think that, but I don't know. Maybe.
Gotta play the same number.
So what you think, man?
Man, once I thought I won the lottery. In the Daily News, they used to give you these little scratch-offs, and they would print the numbers in the Daily News, I'm pretty sure, and then you'd scratch the thing off, and if those numbers or letters were present, then you won $100,000. And I chose a newspaper that was a week old, and I scratched it, and the numbers were there, and it was $100,000. And man, my family found out who I cared about.
You shitting on everybody before you cashed in?
I didn't shit.
Oh,
I didn't shit. You know
oh.
what I mean? I was like, yo, I'll give my parents some money. My brother was like, what do I get? And I was like, you didn't scratch it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
You heard it was like, you shitted on everybody before you got the money?
What you
That
mean?
means you gonna do that
What
shit,
you
yeah?
mean? What you mean?
You guilty.
You
Can't
never.
wait. You can't wait.
Never.
But then it was exhilarating. For that hour before I realized it, my dad let me think that shit too. He just let me walk around the house with this lottery ticket like I'm the richest guy in the world, knowing full well it was a week-old newspaper.
Did you
So
see
how
that?
they tell you?
I found out. I said, oh fuck, we're not rich.
Did you see the scandal with McDonald's and the Monopoly thing?
No, what
There
happened?
was a whole thing about it, right? There was like a documentary about
Yeah, a
it.
guy who worked at the factory where they were made, he would just take all the winning things and give it to his friends.
But I thought that the scandal was they never printed the Broadway one, or they never printed Park Place. Like you always got 2 out of the 3, but the third one you could never get it.
Yeah, but no, he was just there. They were making winning tickets. He would just collect them first. He was in the factory when they're making them. So he just had this. He did it for, I think, 10, 15 years.
I mean, that shit was incredible. Peeling that shit open, getting free fries. It was
Legend.
So fast food is crazy. Went to get a late night snack. Like a meal is $15 now.
No.
Yeah.
A meal of McDonald's.
It's like $15.
So a Happy Meal.
Which one? What you get?
Nah, I got the flurry, but I was just looking at the shit.
One McFlurry was $15.
No. A meal is 15, but I went to get a McFlurry. I think the McFlurry was like 7.